Hello, I'm Kathleen Karlsen. Welcome to Vocal Medicine. Today I'll be doing a workshop on mantras for the heart. So this is the kind of workshop that I do in person here in my home in Bozeman. And I have a sheet here. Mine's got scribbles on it, but I will link in the description so that you can get this handout that would go with the workshop. You don't have to have it because I'll put all the information on the screen and put the lyrics for the chants on the screen. So the format is that I'll talk a little bit about the importance of the heart, the spiritual heart, the physical heart, and then I'll explain each of the mantras and how they relate to the heart and why they are considered healing for the heart as we go and do a demonstration of them. And these all have recordings here on YouTube that are longer. Some are 5 minutes, some are 15, some are an hour. So if you want to really use any or all of these as a meditation for yourself, I'll put those little cards, that go up here in the corner so that you can click on those if you want to just really focus in on one. We'll start with talking about why mantras are for the heart. The heart is considered central in many spiritual traditions. So the heart is the place where there's a spark of life. In some traditions, it's like the flame of eternal life. In some traditions, it's like lightning. So it's where that connection to the spiritual world, to the etheric world resides. In the East, in Hinduism, when someone is devoted to a particular deity, your goal is for that deity to reside in your heart. So Hanuman, for example, he is known as the devotee and extremely loyal to Sita and Ram. So when he opens his heart, you can see Sita and Ram in his heart. So that's an example of imagining a deity in your heart. So for me, I have tended to focus on the heart as part of my spiritual path from day one, from the time I was a teenager. And that was because I really felt, at least in this lifetime, that was where I should focus, that I shouldn't actually focus on developing psychic abilities, for example. I worked for a while on developing healing abilities, learning meditations and visualizations, and I had some incredible experiences with that. And at the same time, I've always felt that it really needs to come from the heart. So what your intention is the most significant thing. So let's see what else about the hearts here. The energy of the heart can draw the kundalini upwards. Many traditions will focus on bringing the energy, the kundalini, the mother energy, that coiled snake image, from the base of the spine up to the crown, which is like a physical counterpart to enlightenment. So what's happening on the physical level. And you can also accomplish that through focusing on the heart. If you focus on the heart, you can draw that energy upward, and then it naturally can move up to the crown. Other people will focus on the third eye, and I did find that it was quite possible to develop psychic abilities by focusing on the third eye. And I also felt, again, that the heart was really sort of the home for me. I come from a Western tradition, and in the West, for example, Saint Therese, I was raised Catholic. Saint Therese talked about the interior castle, like creating a place in your heart. And the Brahma's cave is the Eastern form of that, where you're creating a space in your heart where you can always retreat to. Obviously, in the West, I am a householder. I have 5 children, and I ran a multimedia business for many years, mostly in financial software and the natural health industry. So, I know what it's like to be working full-time, raising children. I actually homeschooled children during some of that time. So to try to balance all of that, it's like you're not retreating. You can't just go off into a cabin all the time. And so to have a place in your heart where no matter what's going on, you can retreat to that, I think that is really a key thing, or at least it has been for me, a way to keep equanimity no matter what the vicissitudes of life going on around you. The other thing about the heart is that it does focus the energy of the sun. Your solar plexus, that's why it's called the solar plexus, focuses the energy of the sun, but also your heart. I love the visualizations of fire around the heart. And so there is a connection there, and you can focus on the fire of the heart. So you'll see as we go through this that several of them are really fire element mantras. And we'll start here. I'll explain a mantra, and then we'll try it out for a little while, and then we'll have just a few moments of silence just to let that sit, and then we'll go into the next one. So the mantras are Om Yam Hrim Namah, Om Yam Shrim Namah, and Om Yam Krim Namah. Yam is the seed syllable for the heart chakra. So each of the chakras have different seed syllables, starting with the base, Lam, and then the sacral chakra, Vam, and then the solar plexus, Ram, and then the heart is Yam, the throat is Hum, and then the third eye is either Om or Ah, depending on which system you're in, and then the crown can be Om, Aum, or Ang. So today we're focusing on Yam. What I'm going to do is each of these workshops, which I'm actually offering live at this point in Bozeman, Montana, where I live, which is a very small town in the mountains. It's gorgeous here. And each week we're going through and doing the chakras, doing healing mantras for different aspects, healing mantras for digestion or for the heart, for the lungs, etc. So I'm taking the material that I'm presenting there, and then approximately every week I'll be trying to release these, as a playlist on the channel. So if you'd like to follow along, if you would like to go through all of the chakras, for example, or all of the different systems that we're working on. So this one is sort of a crossover. It's healing mantras for the heart, which obviously is a chakra or chakra, and it's also a system within the body, the circulatory system. I start with this one. It's of prime importance, obviously, because if your heart stops, then you're moving on to another dimension. So we'll start with the Bija heart mantras. And let's see, that was Om Yam Hrim. So Hrim, H-R-I-M, that is also a seed syllable. So the Yam is the seed syllable for the chakra. And then Hrim is the seed syllable often associated with the heart, also associated with a particular deity, Parvati in this case, and other deities as well. And the H is for prana, or breath, so the breath of life. And then the R, if we break it down with each letter in that syllable, the R is a fire consonant, so R. Slightly rolled, and I'm not very good at rolling the R's. It took me 2 years of Spanish. I still didn't learn it, and eventually I literally practiced with YouTube videos to learn how to roll the R so that I could use it a little bit at least in singing. So that's the R. It's like striking a match. So that is a fire consonant for a fire syllable. And then the Eem, Hrim. So the E is usually associated with the third eye because it's focus. So E, that is like really honing in on something. And then the M at the end, that is the sound of the Divine Mother. So that not only softens the fire and the focus to something that is easier to assimilate or easier to use, but it also grounds it. So you're bringing that fire and that prana and that breath down into the physical. So Om Hrim Namah, and then the next one, same mantra, but substituting Shrim. So S-H-R-I-M. I have a hard time rolling the R right after the S-H, but Shrim. And that is like splendor. That's like the light of the moon. That's a very feminine seed syllable. And it's bringing in transformation and bringing in that energy of the Divine Mother. So the seed syllable for several of the goddesses, including Lakshmi, I think she's the main one. So Shrim is like a wealth kind of syllable, so bringing in that abundant, beautiful energy. And then the last one, Krim, so K-R-I-M. So the K, that is an initiatory sound. It's a hard consonant, and it's one of the strongest sounds, so it creates a very strong seed syllable, usually associated with Kali, sometimes with Shiva. So Krim. And like my name is Kathleen Karlsen, so I think we get named certain things because we need someone to be using that to address us, like through our life. And I think, I'm probably a person who would be perfectly happy just being really laid back all the time, but everyone's always saying, Kathleen, 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 Kathleen. So I do think that it has that energy, and it's like a stimulus. So Krim, so Om, Krim, Nama. Om Yam Krim Nama. So we've got that fire of the heart, and then beauty and splendor with the Shrim. And then we've got that initiatory energy, so the energy of action with the final one. And that sort of rounds out Bija seed syllables for the heart. And what we'll do is go through each of them, just straight through, and then go back to the top and go through a few times. Om Yam Hrim Namah. Om Yam Shrim Namah. Om Yam Krim Namah. Om Yam Hrim Namah. Om Yam Shrim Namah. Om Yam Krim Namah. Om Yam Hrim Namah. Om Yam Shrim Namah. Om Yam Krim Namah. Om Yam Hrim Namah. Om Yam Shrim Namah. Om Yam Krim Namah. Om Yam Hrim Namah. Om Yam Shrim Namah. Om Yam Krim Namah. Om Yam Hrim Namah. Om Yam Shrim Namah. Om Yam Krim Namah. Om Yam Hrim Namah. Om Yam Shrim Namah. Om Yam Krim Namah. So you could take one of those and just focus on that. The other thing you can do is add visualization to it. I mentioned like visualizing the fire around the heart. Some people say that it's 75% visualization and is 25% sound. I'm not sure I agree with that, because I think that if you look at things like cymatics, which is when a sound is sent through water or sent through sand or glass beads and it forms a pattern, it's pretty clear that the sound is creating a pattern here in the physical. So I do think it helps to add the visualization, but for me, the sound is really primary. So let's go on to the next one. If you have the sheet there, you can take a look at that. The Supreme Light Mantra, so also known as the Param Jyoti Mantra. And this one is Om and then Hrim, so the seed syllable that we just used. Hum Sa, So Hum Swaha. And the Hum Sa and the So Hum are focused on the breath. So one is breathing in, hum, sa, and the other one is so hum. And different traditions will use them as breathing in and breathing out, or breathing out and breathing in. But it's a mnemonic device to really focus on the breath, breathing in that prana and then releasing whatever is unneeded. You know, I do a meditation a lot when I wake up in the middle of the night, which I do a lot. I'm like a lifelong insomniac. So I'll wake up a lot in the middle of the night, and if it's really, really early, like 1 or 2 o'clock, and I really want to try to get back to sleep, then I'll breathe in, I'll count my breaths in and out. And part of that is focusing on releasing anything that's negative, you know, whatever comes to mind, you know, whether it's trauma or whether it's current stress in your life or things related to your family or friends, whatever. And I'll do that breathing up to 100, you know, counting, breathing in, breathing out, all the way. If I get to 100 and I'm still not asleep, which is rare, I can remember that happening just a few times, then I'm like, okay, I'm done. I'm going to get up. I'm going to start work. So at any rate, just that idea that the breath is so important in terms of the nervous system, in terms of pranayama, which is the practice of counting the breath and holding the breath and, you know, focusing on the breath in different ways. So this is like a very basic form of pranayama. Anytime you're chanting, it is regulating your breath. If you're chanting in a room with other people, eventually, for the most part, you will start breathing together because most of us run out of air at the same time. And we have to take a breath before we go into the next mantra, you know, when I'm leading a kirtan or a mantra event. So, and also with this, you know, I'll put chapters in here. So if you want to skip and go to, you know, another chant, if there's one that you're particularly interested in and you want to remember, you know, the introduction, you know, you can skip to that. So, the Supreme Light Mantra, Param Jyoti Mantra. Wonderful for the breath, the heart, and the lungs. Soham Swaha. So I didn't mention the swaha at the end. That is a fire offering syllable, or more than one syllable, swaha, 2 syllables. It's also the name of a goddess. So the goddess Swaha, and the idea is that you're offering into the fire whatever it is that you'd like to release. So it's a very appropriate final word there, just like an amen or an alleluia or something along those lines. And now we'll move on to a Hanuman mantra. Hanuman is a deity associated with the heart, as I mentioned earlier, that he has Sita and Ram in his heart. So the Hanuman Rudra mantra, Rudra, R-U-D-R-A. Om Hum Hanumate Rudrat Makaya Hum Fat. So the first hum, so Om is sort of the quintessential seed syllable, single word mantra in the Hindu tradition or Sanskrit tradition. And that's like the sound of creation, the hum of creation. And then hum, spelled H-A-M, but pronounced with a short A, so hum, that is the seed syllable for the throat chakra. So self-expression. And then Hanumate, so Hanuman is the name of the god, sometimes called the monkey king god. He has more the face of a monkey, and then the body of a man, and then the tail of a monkey. And he is part of the race of the Vanara. That is a whole other topic, the origin of the different gods and goddesses. But what he's known for is courage and loyalty and strength. So Hanumate is a word that sort of means of Hanuman, like the qualities of Hanuman, the strength of Hanuman in this particular one. And then Rudra is often associated with Shiva. I think it means red, the one who is red. So it's, the strong, powerful color, like the color of life, blood kind of thing. So the strength of Hanuman, Makaya, Hum Fat. So hum is a very strong syllable as well. And it means in general, I call on the strength of Hanuman to remove all negativity. So the Rudrat Makaya, Hum Fat. Those are like calling for the dispelling of negative energy. And then the Fat at the end is a very short syllable. And that means I accept this without a doubt. So it's like even stronger than an amen. It's like with, or maybe it is the same as an amen, but the idea is without a doubt. So I call on the strength of Hanuman to remove all negativity without a doubt. Om Hum Hanumate Rudrat Makaya Hum Pat. 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 Om Hum Hanumate Rudratmakaya 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 Pat. I think that one's sort of fun. I love doing that mantra. One thing I didn't mention in the beginning is, one of the purposes of a workshop, for example, when I do a workshop in person, is that you can get to know the people that you're chanting with. There's discussion, people can ask questions. So please look at this like that. If you've got questions, go ahead and put them in the comment. If there are things that you want more elaboration on, or things that you have more information about, things that I didn't mention, then please go ahead and do that. When I'm chanting, I've had people ask, do you always chant with your eyes closed? Do you chant with your eyes open? Is one better? Is one not? And when I'm chanting alone at home, I have an altar that I have, it's a very eclectic altar. So I have a Buddha statue that my father brought back from Vietnam. He was a soldier in Vietnam, which is just a beautiful wooden statue. So I have that statue. Then I have a Christmas angel. I just find my whole life, Christmas for me is very joyous. I don't feel like it's been ruined by materialism. I feel like I can take all the best of it, and just all the angels and everything else. So it's a Christmas angel. It's a big statue like this tall. So that sits on my altar. Then I have a large sphere. I can't remember exactly what the stone is, but it's supposed to absorb emotional trauma. And then I have a malachite elephant. I just love elephants, and malachite is probably my favorite stone. And then I have a couple of roses. One is glass, one is duct tape that my kids made. And then I have a statue of Ganesh. So it's a little eclectic, but my point is, and of course I have candles. And I have one of those Himalayan salt lamps. So my point is that there are these beautiful things to look at. So when I'm chanting all by myself, I do alternate between having my eyes closed and focusing inward, and then just looking at these beautiful, inspiring things. So I have had people ask, someone was commenting that they felt uncomfortable if I had my eyes open because they felt like someone was looking at them when they were trying to chant the mantras or sing along with me, which is a good point. I hadn't really thought of that. And other people had asked, should I just focus, inwardly? So whatever works for you, it just comes naturally to me to have my eyes closed a lot of the time, but also to open my eyes and to see the beautiful people that I'm chanting with, or the beautiful things on my altar. So that answers that question. And the next one, we're going to go to seed syllable mantra for the heart. Om Yam Namaha Yam. So very similar to the first one that we did, but leaving out the seed syllables Hrim and Shrim and Krim. So just Om, and then the seed syllable Namaha, I give honor or I bow, and Yam. So this is a sort of a Vedic style, both those first set that we did and this, where there's limited notes, there's not a lot of melody going off all over the place, and it's a very, concentrated kind of mantra. So Om Yam Namaha Yam for the heart. Om Yam Namaha Yam. Yam. Om Yam Namah 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 Yam. Another question that often comes up is whether you should be doing certain mantras without initiation from a guru. So in my own personal situation, I had a guru for 10 years. I lived in a spiritual community. It was a very strict community. We were doing what we call decrees, which is like a form of chanting or mantras. You're chanting on a particular tone, but there isn't musical accompaniment. And, you start slow and you speed up. At any rate, it was a form of chanting, but a little less musical than what I'm doing now. And I was practicing that probably an average of 4 to 5 hours a day. So I'd get up in the morning, we'd have a couple hours in the morning from, 5 to, 2.5 hours, 5 to 7:30. Then we'd have another half an hour at lunch. And then in the evening, it varied. And we often had services that were anything from an hour and a half to many hours, 4, 5, 6 hours. So there was a lot of chanting. And there was some concern at that time, that's a few years ago now, in the community that you shouldn't do really intense focus on seed syllables for the chakras without the presence of someone who had spiritual attainment to sort of hold the balance for that. Because if there are things in your chakras that are related to trauma or anger or jealousy or revenge or past life records or whatever, if you don't have a way to transmute that, or you haven't transmuted enough of that before you get to the point of directly working on a chakra, then it can throw you off balance. So if you're feeling very emotional, or there's a lot of memories coming up that are things that need to be worked through or transformed, then I would back off. My guru is, well, she's not on earth anymore. It was a woman, but she's not on earth anymore. She has passed on. And I haven't taken another guru. I haven't looked for another guru. I really have just gone on a more independent path since then. So in my opinion, this is a spiritual technology that is available to all. And I think that it's just a matter of your own attunement to know whether you need a personal guide or whether you can self-regulate and you can move through. There's different forms of meditation which were long considered to be secret and only for initiates that are now widespread, throughout the world, through the Western world, through it's available around the world. It's available on YouTube, it's available through courses, through weekend seminars, whatever. So I do think we live in a time where those things are available. And I do think that we just each have the responsibility to use our own discretion. So I chant whatever I find that I believe is helpful for me, and that I believe could be helpful for others, and so I share those things. But I'm not a guru, and that's sort of my approach to that. I just think the soul has a right to determine for itself, and it doesn't denigrate in any way the role that a guru played in my life, in the earlier portion of my life, or anyone's choice at any point to either work with a guru or not. So that answers that question. And I'll probably take some of these, because people have asked these questions, and create a short that's like, okay, here's 3 minutes on a particular topic as well. So you'll see some things coming out that are like excerpts from what we're doing now, which is a little longer format. And the next one is a chant that is just using the seed syllable for the heart. And this is the approach of this one is a very soft, like a lullaby, for the heart, for the soul, for the fire in the heart. And so it's a soft version. In the East, there are different forms, even of particular deities. Shiva, for example. Shiva Shambhu, or Shiva Shambhu, is a softer form than other forms of Shiva that are like the destroyer, that kind of thing. So the music that goes with this one is much softer, but it's only that syllable. So the whole thing, it's going to be 3 different melodies that are just with this syllable. And I do, as I mentioned, have a recording that's about 10 minutes of this particular one that goes through all the chakras. So if you want to take 10.5 minutes or so and go through all of the chakras, might be something you want to do, each morning or each evening. I have videos for that. So please do like and subscribe. I always forget to say that until we're getting close to the end here. But there is a lot available if you'd like to really practice with some of this material. So this is the chakra chant focused only on the heart chakra. Single word, yum. So something I've often done with that one is, if I'm leading a group, have everyone lay down on the floor, and then it's like a sound bath, because it's just one word. So it's like sacred toning, where you just use vowel sound to tone the different chakras. So those are associated with particular vowels, like the E with the third eye that we talked about earlier. So that one is really, really works well for just like Shavasana, at the end of a yoga session, to just lay down and just feel that. So our very last one is Shanti Om. So this is just Om Shanti Shanti Om. So it's really just to seal the session. So we've done a lot of work with the heart, talked a lot about the heart, and we can seal that energy by bringing peace. Peace to our being. So the Shanti is repeated 3 times, which is usually the body, the mind, and the spirit. So you can think of it as at 3 different levels, or the emotions, the heart, the gut, that kind of thing. So an opportunity to really focus. The Om sort of focuses the mind, and then Shanti, Shanti, so the word for bliss or peace. Shanti, 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 Om, Shanti, Shanti, Om. Om, Shanti, 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 Om, Shanti, Shanti, Om. Shanti, 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 Om, Shanti, Shanti, Om. Om, Shanti, 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 Om, Shanti, Shanti, Om. Om Shanti, 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 Om 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 Shanti, Shanti, Om. Thank you for joining. Let me know if you want me to continue with sort of this workshop format. This was totally an experiment. I do have one workshop that's on the channel. There's a whole playlist just for that workshop. And that was something, gosh, I think I did that 4 or 5 years ago. And it was filmed by the group that had me come to chant for their conference, and then they sent me the footage, and I took it from there. So this is an attempt to be able to offer any workshop that I am doing live here in Bozeman and, record it and put it out so that as I develop materials and go back and offer things that I've had in the past live, that those of you who are part of this online community, the YouTube community, can experience that or benefit from it, hopefully, as well. So thank you again. Please do share with a friend and have a beautiful day.